Welcome to the third episode of the video series with Jason Morgan on why artists and painters have back pain, neck pain, shoulder pain. In part 1, we have discussed what the issue is, so at a biomechanical level. In part 2, I've told you a lot on lower back pain, how you can avoid it, what you should do at technical, organizational and behavioral level. So now it's time to discuss what happens in your neck and shoulder area, also at these 3 levels, but maybe I'll be a bit less maniac than in the other episode on splitting between the 3 levels. In episode 1, I told you that what causes neck pain, shoulder pain is what you do with your head and what you do with your elbows. We will start with what you do with your head. The first head issue, so to say, was when you flex your head too much. And you see, this has very much to do with where are you located with respect to your painting. So if you want to reduce this, which is also the problem that you have when you're on your smartphone or on your tablet or any other mobile screen, or if you want to avoid that, there are not 5,000 solutions, you know. Either you lower yourself, i.e. you sit down, or you raise the painting, or both. So this is a purely technical thing, is you need hardware that allows you to either go down yourself or bring the painting upwards. Conversely, we also said that neck extension is a problem. A neck extension is when you're lower than your painting. So if this is the problem, well, other way around, you stand up or you lower the painting. But in terms of neck extension, we've also said that multifocal glasses can be a problem. And there, I'd like to, give you the same advice as the one I give to office workers, which is that multifocal glasses are glasses for daily life activities, for activities in which you need to sometimes be looking far forward, sometimes reading your papers, etc. So a very, say, mixed activities. Painting is much less mixed. I mean, when painting, you're always having a visual distance which is somewhere between, say, 40 and 80 centimeters, which is really pretty much what happens also in an office environment. For this type of visual constraint, you need what's called computer glasses, which is basically monofocal glasses, which allow you to see comfortably at somewhere between 60 and 80 centimeters. So the idea, if you paint a lot, is not to get multifocal glasses, it's to keep them for the rest of your life, but when you paint, to have monofocal glasses. So you take a picture of yourself when you stand and when you sit in front of your painting, and you bring it to the optometrist with the distances and the angles so that the optometrist can advise you on the best prescription. The last big issue with your head is forward head posture. And this is not only your issue, it's an issue for everybody. I mean, forward head posture is the mother of all chronic neck pains, headaches, and even upper limb pains, sometimes even lower limb pains. I mean, forward head posture is really a tricky thing. What makes it even more tricky is that there's a vicious cycle in your upper body, which is that when your mid-back goes round, your head goes forward and your shoulders go forward. And each one of these 3 is both the cause and the consequence of the 2 others. In other words, you just need one of the 3 for the 2 others to come through the window. But let's stick to forward head posture and try and understand what can make you go forward with your head, directly with your head when you paint. I think there are 2 main reasons which are both related again to your eyes. One is a lack of visual acuity. If you don't see clear, you will tend to bring your head forward. For that, the general advice is if you're younger than 40, check your eyes every 2 years. If you're above 40, check them every year until your optometrist tells you that the situation is stabilized and he or she doesn't need to see you anymore for 2 or 3 years. The other issue might be that you don't have enough light. As soon as you don't have enough light, your eyes will be tired quickly and you'll go like this. The science of lighting is not really an exact science because we all have different light sensitivities and everything, and this light sensitivity depends on our age. So the general advice I'd like to give you regarding lighting is try and combine natural and artificial lighting, try and combine direct and indirect lighting. But one way or the other, make sure that 1, you have enough light in terms of light level. To make sure that you position the lights in such a way that you don't have your shadow when you paint. So if the light is behind you, as soon as you paint, you'll see your shadow on the painting, and you'll start doing strange things with your upper body to avoid your shadow and see the details. So make sure that the lighting is directly on the painting and not on you then the painting. Let's now switch to the situation regarding your elbows. The first two issues I'd like to tackle is when your elbows are too far forward. Too far means more than 20 degrees, or too far to the side. This also means more than 20 degrees. And you see, it's a combined issue of elbow angle and arm weight. The further my arm, the heavier it is on the shoulder tissues. It's a bit like you would come back from the shopping holding your bags like this, That would be super difficult for you. So what you want is to work on the issue of the angle, or rather the angle between the elbow and the upper body. That's one issue. And the other issue you want to work on is the weight of your arm. I'm going to tackle them separately. Again, the issue of elbow angle has a lot to do with your position towards the drawing, again and again and again. So there again, you need to, one, adjust your position with respect to the area of the painting with which you're working. So that means, again, have a flexible work space. The painting needs to be adjustable. You need to be able to sit or stand. And when you sit, you need to be easily able to roll front, back, sideways with respect to the painting. That means that your painting chair should be on wheels, not on feet. Then comes the issue of the weight of your arm. If you want the shoulder to be relaxed, you need something or someone to hold your arm. There are, say, several solutions. The solution foreseen by Mother Nature is that your arm will be carried from within. From within means that your lats, your latissimus dorsi muscle, will be holding the weight of your arm. You see, it's basically starting in your pelvic area, all your lumbar vertebrae, all your thoracic vertebrae, and all these fibers converge all together towards under the armpit to create a real column, a pillar for the weight of your arm. So the latissimus dorsi has been designed by Mother Nature as what I call an internal armrest. The only thing is, if we rethink, technical, organizational, behavioral, mastering your latissimus dorsi is a very, very behavioral issue, which is strongly related to your body awareness, your body control. So this is really quite difficult. I mean, it's useful if you master it, but it might not be the first thing you want to do. So what's left is what we can do from outside of your body, i.e., can we create something that will support the weight of your arms? There are three things you can create to support the weight of your arms. Thing number one is the maulstick. You see, if you use the maulstick, well, basically you're free to move your wrist, but your elbow and your shoulders are locked. So this is what I would say a solution with 1 degree of mobility. As it is only 1 degree of mobility, it is for very small movements, for fine details. You don't want to be painting large areas with the maulstick. That's not possible. Otherwise, you would bring your wrist into very deviated positions, which would be painful both in your carpal tunnel area and would cause epicondylitis, in particular what's called tennis elbow. So maulstick is a great solution to support the weight of your arm from below, but it restricts the mobility of elbow, shoulder. What can we do to free the elbow? Well, we can support it from below. Support it from below is using an armrest. Jason's chair, for example, has very mobile armrests that can go up and down, front, back, in and out, and they can even be set in width. So the distance between the armrests. With these armrests, which are padded, that's an essential feature for the pressure on the elbow, you can support your arm from below. And now, instead of just moving the wrist, I can move and the wrist and my elbow. The only thing you see is, if you look at my distance to the painting, I may be disturbed by my knees. So I can expect that if you want to paint with your armrests, often you'll have to be a bit twisted, which is not great in terms of neck rotation, which is a risk factor that we haven't spoken too much about. Of course, this problem will definitely be resolved also if you manage, as we mentioned in the previous video, to fit your knees under the painting. If you manage to fit your knees under the painting, there's no more distance problem resolved. So we said with the mahlstick, you can basically still move your wrist, but not your elbow and shoulder. With the armrest, you can move your elbow and wrist, but not the shoulder. So the armrest is a 2 mobility degree solution. And there's a 3 mobility degree solution, which is extremely experimental also, which is called a load balancer. You see, that is something that we use sometimes in the industry. It's like a handmade exoskeleton, if you like. This thing has a resistance that you can adjust between 1 and 2 kilos. My arm is around 1.7 kilos or so. So I've adjusted so that, it supports part of the weight of my arm, but I keep all my mobility. And that thing will work from 30 degrees to 30 degrees on each side. So if I manage to suspend this, it has a 1.60 m, this one, cable length. If I manage to have this above my working area, when I need to do things that are sustained, I can, just get my arms held by the load balancer. It's something that's very commonly used in the chemical industry, for example, when you need to have people working with heavy pipes in tanks. The pipe will be held by a load balancer like this. Again, I'm not a painter, so my job is to show you the alternatives. It's then your job to test it and let the community know if it works or not. It's not super expensive. Honestly, it's between $30 and $60. So at worst, you have lost between $30 and $60. With all this, you should have a few ideas on how you can make your painting experience a bit easier. Beware the movements of your head and beware the angle and the weight of your arm. What's very interesting really is if you experiment and let us know in the comments of this video what you have succeeded to do, what was positive, what was not so positive. Bear in mind that I know the human body, you know painting, so only together can we find the best solution. Next video will be on exercises for your lower back, exercises for your neck, exercises for your shoulders. So I'll give you a few daily exercises, not an encyclopedia of exercises, just a few targeted exercises that help you preserve your health whilst painting.